The opinions expressed by the host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
Let's get ready to rumble! Y'all ready for this?
Well, good Friday morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee Time with Blind United. Well, it looks like we got a full house up in here with us today, so let me get started with good morning, Miss Brittany.
Good morning.
And then we got Miss Carol. Good morning, Carol.
Good morning. Fantastic Friday to everybody.
All right. Then we got Mr. George.
Buenos días todos aquí en Estados Unidos, Aurora. Buenos días.
And then we got Pedro back there on the buttons.
Buenos días todos, ¿cómo están? How's everybody? Happy Friday, TGIF, I just tell you that much.
And then we got Mr. Jesus Bautista, first time on the show. Good morning, Jose.
Buenos días.
Man, you let anybody on this show. God damn, you let anybody.
I tell you.
Well, it is Friday, so we're just trying to, enjoy ourselves. So anyway, let me jump into this interest group and let's see what's happening with that. We have our movie night tonight, and be October. Everybody wants to do scary, spooky movies, whatever. So that will be at 6:00. So if you pop in a little early with your favorite scary movie, spooky movie, whatever, we can figure out which one we're going to watch tonight, and we can enjoy a movie together. So you can get all your popcorn, snacks, and beverages together. And hey, I don't know, maybe scary movies, you might need to have somebody with you so you can reach and grab them when you get scared. I don't know. So, but anyway, that's tonight at 6 p.m. So come and hang out with us and enjoy a good movie. So, all right. Well, man, it's Friday. So, I know we got a bunch of articles we talking about today, so I'm going to pass this back over to Pedro because he's got the playlist.
Wait, before Pedro starts playing articles, Thomas from Western Colorado said good morning. So good morning, Thomas.
Good morning, Thomas.
Thomas.
By the way, we're sharing it to the Blind United interest group.
All right. Well, thank you, sir, for making that connection.
All right, yeah, and we're going to start off with AI's learning via robots. Robots learning via AI. Let's check this out.
Robots learning via AI-generated data. A breakthrough in robot training is unfolding with the development of Genima, a new system that helps robots learn through AI-generated images. This innovative approach uses image-generating AI technology, similar to Stable Diffusion, to simulate various scenarios and robot movements. These simulations then guide robots in both virtual and real-world settings, allowing them to perform tasks with greater accuracy and flexibility. Traditionally, training robots for complex tasks has required large datasets and human intervention. Genima's unique use of AI-generated data changes that by reducing the need for human-generated examples, speeding up the learning process. Robots are now able to see and adapt to different environments and tasks, from factory settings to healthcare and beyond, learning to navigate intricate situations autonomously. This advancement has far-reaching implications across industries. In manufacturing, robots trained using Genima can quickly adapt to assembly line changes. In healthcare, robotic assistants may perform surgeries or assist in patient care with heightened precision, all learned through these AI-driven simulations. By merging image generation AI with robotics, Genima could mark the beginning of a new era in automation, pushing the boundaries of what machines can achieve. This method of training represents a significant step toward more autonomous and adaptable robots, setting the stage for future innovations in artificial intelligence and robotics. Now back to the coffee time crew.
Well, I mean, again, we've been doing a lot about AI and all that good stuff. So,
Mr.
this
Davis,
is, yes, George.
there's my uncle was telling me about this movie. I forgot the name of it. It's a comedy kind of deal. But it was about a guy had a Alexa kind of device, and the device actually fell in love with him. And so, for example, when you try to make a call, it cut it off, and when you try to leave, it locked the security. So it was a in a way kind of poking at AI. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it was a comedy. But I wonder if we'll get to that point where that guy has mentioned before, where the AI will say, you know what, you're going to run by my rules, right? Like I cut off your security, cut off your communications, and so I just hope it doesn't get to that point, or where a government could use it for negative things. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, and this is the whole thing about training it, George. I mean, again, you know yourself dealing with AI. It's about training the AI model to do what you want it to do. I mean, of course, I've always said, since we started talking about this a few months back, there's got to be guardrails in place. There's got to be guidelines. There's got to
Oh,
be, safety nets in place.
I
You
saw
know,
yesterday,
I have a
Mr. Davis. I didn't mean to cut
friend.
you off, but Mr. Biden, he's introducing the or not introducing. He may sign executive order regarding what you just said, providing more guardrails, and that's the same words they use. How weird, right? And they say that they're going to provide more guardrails for AI, so it stays in this lane, so to speak, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
I just wanted to say that.
Not to
Well,
cut
I've
you
been
off,
talking about that.
George or Pedro. I had a friend that just had back surgery, and she said a robot did it.
Yep.
wasn't It was a surgeon that was monitoring her back.
Yep.
I think that's so fascinating.
Yes,
How are we able to do that? It wasn't nobody's hands in her body. It was a robot that did it. She's
You know what?
walking now.
One of the things that's amazing to me is that when you talk to people about AI, a lot of people are very fearful. And as a blind person, AI is doing so much for us. There's just no reason for me to be fearful of it. I think that if the people that are fearful of it um, probably don't understand the way that AI functions, because it doesn't turn on by itself. It's got to have a human directing it. My son is a pilot, and for Southwest, and he tells me that the plane can fly itself. They don't really need them, but they have to
Jesus,
have
I'm
them.
I, I'm
yeah.
scared to
Uh,
think about.
well,
Uh,
a
we're
few months
fearful of a
back,
lot of things.
look, I'm for AI. I
Yes,
advocate for it.
me too.
But but the thing is, it needs to be guardrails. Guardrails. We needed to have stuff in place already. We didn't need the technology to go out in certain fields, especially let's say in Spanish and planning for military use. Or let's say, for example, AI has the handle of nuclear arms. There needs to be guardrails in ways that you can't take it. You can't. You could prevent something, something major to happen. Also, we need guardrails within utilizing AI and scamming. So I believe we kind of we're not, we're not where we need to be in those guide rails and making this infrastructure for that. I think the government is kind of starting a little too late. They need to already get on it because once it's out the bag, and man, it could cause damage if you don't set these guardrails. And
I mean, AI is a tool, and it could be used for good or for evil, like any tool.
Yeah.
Any tool can hurt somebody or cause damage, and any tool can build a house
even
or whatever. So it
well,
just,
yeah, even to our economy.
Yeah.
We've been hearing about these companies that use AI to crank up prices, rental prices, and stuff like that. In the middle, over there by Chicago, on that region over there, there's been other companies too. So you have to make sure you make guidelines to protect people.
I
And
think that when put guidelines, you need to put them on the military because look, Russia gets a hold of that equipment, they'll use it. China, they'll
Mhm.
use it because they,
Well,
they're led by imbeciles, people who don't know any better. But as far as like the technology that's coming out for blind people and for the health department, the health and medical benefits, I'm all for it. I mean, yeah, we need to put some guardrails, but I think that people panic. It's just like when computers first started. People were afraid of computers. I mean, yeah, I'm an educator, and teachers never wanted to use computers. They were just afraid of them, and that's what I think is happening with AI.
Well, again, we definitely need the guardrails. I mean, just knowing what we know now, again, AI is just actually coming into public use. It's been in corporate use for many,
Hmm.
many years now, right?
Yeah,
So, uh, and what our biggest fear is looking at, I mean, I hate to go here, but Terminator. I mean, Skynet. That's what that was. AI took
yeah,
over. iRobot. That's what happened. AI took over.
yeah.
So there's all these different, per se, science fiction movies, but they all evolve around the fact of AI taking over. And the only way we keep AI from taking over is we got to have strong guardrails. I mean, again, no, AI can't turn itself on right now, but eventually AI will be able to turn
well,
Yeah,
itself on.
yeah,
according to the article that we was just listening to, AI is teaching robots, but it's all the same concept. Technology is teaching technology. And when you take the human aspect of that and make a full autonomous robot that could repair itself, could create others, and don't need no human intervention, that's where we're in that little borderline, you know? So,
yeah.
yeah, guardrails and rules, and even setting laws to the machines in their programming, laws that they can't break, that don't go against, you know what I mean?
I
Because
get
Oh,
it.
robots don't sleep, don't eat, and put them in military use,
oh no, yeah. That's where
you know what I
the
mean?
danger is. That's where the
Eh,
danger may be. But you know what? Uh, when we talk about putting guardrails, that needs to be done by the federal government. They need to, develop an agency just like we have for the food and drug, uh, and those agencies, and that way, they can oversee a lot of that. But right now, we don't have that.
Well, this is true, but again, they wasn't concerned about it previously because it was only corporate used it for doing whatever they were doing with it. But now that it's becoming accessible to the public, now again, I mean, there's so many ways that people can use this to do wrong, to do evil, to do like scams and so on and so forth. So
Yeah. Mm.
again, yeah, I agree. That if it doesn't fall under one of the agencies that's already out there, then yeah, we probably need to create an oversight agency for that. and make sure. I mean, just like we got Federal Trade Commission, the FCC for Federal
Right.
Communications, all of that stuff. I mean, again, we're going to need something to make sure that this AI stays in place. The guardrails stay in place. I mean, guidelines, regulations. That's what keeps us safe. At least here in America. That's why a lot of manufacturing ends up going overseas. Why? Because we got all this different stuff in place over here that we just don't allow. I mean, again, crazy part is they can bring it in after they done already created it, but at the same time, we got to have guardrails in place. It's just that simple. So, all right. Now, anybody got anything else on that, or?
Tisha said good morning, and she can't wait to see all of you guys at the spooky event tomorrow.
Well, you say you guys, like that's not you as well, Brittany. See all of us. See all of us. I'm sorry. Brittany always excludes herself. I don't want her to exclude herself. She's always included. So
Yeah.
She just has a way of excluding herself. And she's part of the family. So I'm always going to keep her in the mix. But anyway, yeah, this one here is about training robots to be able to do what we want to do. I know we got a couple more articles, and they're all about AI and the different uses for robots. So, I mean, that's what we got for this one, I guess. And whenever you're ready, my brother, we can move on to the next one. Y'all giving me dead air. This ain't good.
Google DeepMind's AutoRT, the future of robot coordination. Google DeepMind has introduced AutoRT, an innovative system that integrates large language and visual models to train and guide multiple robots in dynamic environments. This system can coordinate up to 52 robots simultaneously, focusing on safety and efficient decision-making. AutoRT is inspired by Asimov's laws of robotics, establishing a robot constitution that emphasizes the safety and reliability of robotic interactions. The system uses real-time visual data and advanced AI to enable robots to make human-like decisions and adapt to various tasks. In settings like offices, AutoRT enables robots to manipulate objects and respond to changing situations with improved adaptability and efficiency. What sets this system apart is its focus on continuous experiential learning, allowing the robots to get smarter and more responsive over time. DeepMind's goal with AutoRT is to push the boundaries of robotic capabilities, paving the way for enhanced collaboration between robots and humans across various industries. Now, coffee time crew, what do you think?
I mean, just another instance of where they're training robots to do, sadly, eventually they're going to take more and more jobs away from us as well. So, again, it's the thing that's tying all of this together is training the AI, is training the various AI models. I mean, I just want to say for folks to understand that, yeah, AI is artificial intelligence, but there's so many different models. I mean, you got legal ones, you got medical ones, you got accounting ones, you got there's a whole list of various AI models. So all of these things, they've got to be trained. And, even within that, you want to train them to be able to do what you want them to do. But at the same time, you got to keep them guardrails in place to make sure it doesn't do what you don't want it to do. So,
one of the things that I'm very much against is that they're using it, like for the doctors are using it to set up appointments, and so anymore you can't hardly talk to an individual if you got a problem, or if you got a situation that you need to talk to them about, because it's robotically run. And so see, there's one place there where um, in the medical profession there where you're trying to set up an appointment or call a doctor, and even to cancel now, if you're late to an appointment, the computer automatically sets you up for a failure, and you have to pay a $25 or $35 fee.
Well, that sucks for your medical insurance down there. We don't have that issue here, Mr. Bautista. Yes, we do have the automated systems, but
Hmm.
they always give you the option to speak to an operator. So,
I haven't
California
seen
has
that
a
yet.
good, yeah. California has other good stuff: the good drugs, the good women, everything, the good beaches. Yeah. Uh, sorry, I was on the call with somebody called me from the state, so sorry about. So what were we talking about? Go start from the beginning, there, like.
well,
We
we've
got
been
good
talking about
AI.
all morning AI, George.
AI isn't that Alan Iverson?
Uh,
Albertsons.
Albertsons.
well, again, we talking about training these various AI models.
Oh yeah, and that's what Pedro taught me a lot about that because people just think that you just tell it what to do, but you actually have to prompt it. Like for example, he's taught me like I'm blind. Please describe the dog to me, or uh, they say you take a picture of a room and you say, "Tell me what's on the computer screen." In other words, you kind of like pinpoint it, and it works. It works, and that's what people like, especially me with the Meta Ray Bans. I have to learn that, right? Because sometimes I'll say, "What's in front of me?" It'll take a very generic picture of it or description. I'm like, "Oh yeah, wait a minute. What's on the TV or what's on the table?" Right? It has to be specific, and that's how they train the voices. Now, the only thing is, I wish it would be cool where I know they're different models, right? But I wish it would be cool where it would train, or let's say you use Gemini, right? And it would go into the other models. But I know that can't happen. I know that's not the way it works. But that would be cool, right? So you don't have to be training all your different models. Because I know, Pedro, how many do you have right now that you work with? Probably three or four models.
Um, yeah, I work within. Let's see, one, two, yeah, three, four, almost five. But
And
with
that's what I'm saying, that they'll be different too. If it
uh,
was
yeah, I've been running tests on PixieBot. Um, PixieBot has a good feature that I have not seen in another application, so I'm giving that a try. With in there it has 9 models, so
does it
I'm
really?
able, yeah, so I'm able
Oh
to
wow.
switch up and have the same question and let all these different AIs answer it.
Are any of those models in swimsuits? No.
George, I am
Okay, I'm
blind.
sorry.
I'm not
I had
even
to
gonna
ask.
answer that. I'm blind. If there were, I can't see them.
I had to
You'd
ask.
have to
I
ask
don't think
Pixie
it's
Bot to
that type of
describe them.
model, George.
Oh, okay, now no wonder because I've been looking for the Sports Illustrated and all that. Like, where are these models at? I can't find them. But anyway, yeah, that's true.
They all start with numbers or chap or something. What is that?
Right? But you're right, Mr. Davis, that training the models is like Mr. Bautista. I kind of heard a little bit when I was on the phone. He's right because people give a negative aspect about AI, but in general, for us, our demographic, it really helps. It really, like for me, it made a big
Right.
difference in my life now. Where, I don't have to go to my wife all the time, right? I could just say, what am I seeing or what am I doing, and that brings a sense of independence. And when you get that sense, folks, uh, being sighted, you really don't understand what it means to not to have that independence, right? Where we have to
So,
ask someone.
so let's pinpoint where in that you said earlier, Georgia. Where is the training? The training is when you tell the I am blind.
Yes,
Now you're teaching it that you are blind, and eventually you won't have to tell it that anymore. It'll just
exactly.
start giving you visual descriptions because it
Yeah,
already knows that you're blind.
Or the food you like, or the TV. So yeah, 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 yeah. Which is true. Yeah, and I think isn't it, Mr. Pedro? Isn't it based, for example, it puts all this stuff into the cloud I'm probably being very generic, but it puts it somewhere, and then they'll
Yeah.
just go back and grab it when you ask information.
Yes, yes. All this is going to the cloud. When I was setting up these metas, all that they wanted to know if they could send the video for processing and maybe hold it for like a few hours and or a day and then get rid of it. But it uses that video and then it might even use that video to retrain the model and get better reactions on what they're training it on. you
But you
know.
know what? But one thing I did see on Facebook, and I was just wondering from, and I saw it yesterday. I just want to get, and I'm going to mention this during the show, and I want to see what everybody says about this. How we're talking about the benefits of AI, but at the same time we're giving up our privacy in so many ways. And people are like, "Oh, I'm not going to give up my privacy and screw AI or this and that." I'm like, "Well, I'd rather give them a little bit of my privacy if I get independence." Really?
Well, George, the
Okay.
thing is that they already have all of our information. They've had our
True.
information for years. They have your social security, they have numbers, they have all your information already because they sell it to each other. So I mean, that's not going to be
You
a
mean
factor
iPhone?
anymore.
About social security numbers, I don't think they can sell those.
No, 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 no.
They
But what
can
I'm saying, you're
also,
right,
uh-huh,
and I
about
guess in a way,
privacy. Hmm.
go
Well,
ahead. I'm sorry.
Peter, Pedro, when you go to the doctor, that's one of the first things they want to know is your social security, and if they're somebody hacks them, that information is going to go with them. So, like I
Yeah,
said,
that's
I think everything that we have considered private is no longer such a thing.
yeah, but it's so yeah, that's hacking and it's not being sold. But in privacy, yes. Yesterday when I was setting up these glasses, George, they told me, "Do you want Meta to have your contacts?" You know how many years I have not let access to my contacts to anything, because I value my privacy. I'm all about
Yeah, yeah.
technology, but I'm about my privacy too.
True, 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 true.
When it comes to my photos, I in some applications I only let them access the photos that I chose to let them access and nothing more. When it
True.
comes to my location, even Apple doesn't have my location. I shut all that off with their advertisement. But yesterday I was like, oh man, they told me for your glasses to work better, you need to sync your contacts with Meta. And I was like, you know how much I was hovering over that button? I was hovering over that button for like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And the next question was, Meta needs to use your location. You are able to select use while the app, but you will get another option pop up that will say always use. You need
Always
to
use. Yeah.
pick always use. And I was like hovering that over that button another 3 or 4 minutes, man. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, oh man. I almost was like, I'm not gonna use these. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But
I
I was
always
like,
use it when I only do click while I'm using the app. That's the
yeah,
only time I let them use my location.
but with these glasses, you're gonna need that for to
You
get
guys always.
references for like what's the weather like, where I'm at, or where stuff like certain things. Find me the location of this, so it could route you to things. So
Yep. Yeah.
so I was like, so it could work better. I allowed it, but
Well, that's what I'm saying,
there
Pedro.
you. Ugh.
You kind of made my points about the privacy, right? I'll give up a little bit, not a lot, right? But I'll give up a little bit for that independence, right? Of course, if they want my, like Mr. Bautista, they want more information. No, chale, I'm not going to do that. But if they want a little bit of stuff, hey, you know what? I'm good because that's going to allow me to go to the store by myself or shop by myself. And if it gets to that point, which I know it won't, but at least I have that option, right? Like you were telling me yesterday, Mister Pedro, I didn't think about this. You ask your glasses, about the path, like which way can I go around the table. I didn't think about that. You know what I'm saying? So things like that, when we see that, we're like, oh, okay, we could do that now. I didn't know that.
and and
You
and
know?
also, guys, the prompt I told the glasses was a couple of questions and stuff like that. And I gave it the way it should instruct me too. It was just not like find me a path. It was like um I told her find me a path. First I told it tell me what's in front of me and I need a path around this things that are
Table.
in front of me. And then he told me it's a table. And then I told her, okay, are the chairs empty? And then he came back with the paths are clear for you to go and the chairs are empty. And I told her, okay. So, I was able to dictate if I wanted to take a seat in that table or go around that table. So it all depends how you do it. But, it's just some of that prompting. But giving up privacy is always to me like, oh man, I always,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? And it's true, they do have our information, like Batista says, but it's not like how he was saying it. They have our information, meaning like our phones are always pinging, so the cellular
You know,
companies have
Pedro,
that.
what's kind of scary when Mr.
Hmm.
Bautista is kind of saying, and it makes sense in a way that I'll put context to my comment. So there have been times I mentioned this on the show before, at least 3 times, at least if not more, where I'm talking to my wife about a specific item. They say like the one I'll use the most is the Lucky Charms, right? She said, "What do you want from the grocery store?" Oh, Lucky Charms, And later that day, because she took me to work, and this is when I was working at the Attorney General, so I took a break, and my Facebook feed it was Lucky Charms.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then one time we're talking about blinds for the windows. This is maybe like 2 years ago, and sure enough, on my timeline on Facebook, promotional for blinds. So your phone is always listening, like Alexa, right? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm saying that everybody's Alexa's going now. Um, I hear that's always on, and sometimes you have to be cautious of that, right? Because you have to understand that thing's always on, and if you're saying stuff, it's gonna catch that. Right.
Yeah.
Now, does it save it, Pedro? Does it save that conversation or not,
It
Alexa?
varies the company to company. When you hear that Facebook's terms and conditions, Amazon terms and conditions, they do store it because some of these don't. They're not like Apple that it tries to do it all within the phone. That's why some of these other ones are more useful in a way because they store it. Apple tries to do everything on device and give it to you there, so none of your privacy is
Oh,
going out.
Pedro, so I'm glad you said that, and you're the expert here, right? The subject expert when it comes to AI. So I know people are kind of nervous that this new AI is coming out for supposedly by the end of November or October for Apple 18.1. I was hearing some discussions yesterday on the podcast. So what's the difference, Pedro, when the device saves it on the device versus going on the cloud? What's the difference? Or
Well,
how it processes it?
yeah, I think you're talking about onboard processing.
Yes.
So when you say, um, do this action for me, and let's say it's personal information like a contact, well, Apple can, it doesn't, it stays within your phone, does the processing, looks for the contact, makes the call, right? Well, let's say you tell the glasses, make this call. Well, it has to go and ping the Facebook and say, okay, this is the contact he wants. Let's make this happen. You
Okay.
get it? And then it goes out there. So if you say it verbally, your whole voice pattern is there, how you talk and all that. So the more you keep talking, it's like when you used to use the voice talking for Google, it will store all that stuff on Google, all your little voice clips, even your Amazon clips get stored, you know?
Pedro, yesterday I was telling my wife, let's say me, I'm walking down the sidewalk with my cane and I have my glasses on and I'm talking to someone. Somebody could probably see me because they don't see no earbuds in my ear. They say, "Mira, ese loco, he's talking to himself, walking down the street." And I just thought it was funny because the phones folks or the glasses who don't know is go to like regular glasses, but you could hear it really well, but no earbuds. There's nothing going into your ears. So if someone doesn't know that, they're gonna say, "What is that? Why is he talking to himself?" Right? But the sound is really great, right? Pedro and Mr.
Oh, it's
Bautista, the
awesome.
sound is
Even with the
yeah,
music, it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Also, yeah, the speakers are open air speakers, so be aware too. They could get loud and people could hear your text message. But at that point, we're gonna be back, folks.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United. Did you know that people in third world countries do not have access to canes? The You Can Give initiative gives canes to people all over the world who cannot get canes. The You Can Give initiative not only goes to these countries and gives people canes, but they give people canes and a digital recorder that is solar powered, that has instructions on how to use the cane and instructions on how to repair the cane. The You Cane Give initiative is a very worthy cause, giving canes to blind people all over the world. If you have a cane that you're no longer using, or a cane that's broken or bent, you can go to youcanegive.org and get a shipping label, and you can ship your cane to Jimmy in Tennessee, and he will refurbish it and give your cane to a blind person in a third world country. That website again is youcanegive.org.
All right.
Okay, why did that commercial sound like those ones for the give the money for the kids in Africa?
Can you repeat that website, because the music is kind of disruptive there, a little bit too loud, and I couldn't.
That's youcanegive.org.
You can give.
.org.
Okay, good.
Oh, Mr. I do have a quick question. I'm sorry to do this on the air. I have 3 canes that they gave me. They're straight canes. Did they take those or not?
I mean, I think I had this conversation with you before. I mean, he can't ship those to the third world countries because of the way they're long and whatever. You got to get a box to put them in. And I mean, what he does use them. If you send them to him, he takes them more to, I mean, I hate to go here, but like folks getting out of jail, they don't have a cane, they didn't have one. So he'll take the straight canes and give them to people, locally. He can't.
Well, I did ask you that question on purpose because people might want to, so they could understand that there's a difference between shipping the canes that are bent or that's a folding cane. Yeah.
Right.
It's a folding cane, right?
There should be a real quick guy. There should be a commercial back in the day for Kmart, and this kid, he ordered some pants, right, to their website, Kmart, right, and so the kid runs into the living room. He goes, "My pants, they're gonna get shipped. I shipped my pants." They're like, "Excuse me?" "Yeah, they shipped my pants. I want to ship my pants." They're like, "What?" But it was just the word "ship," the way they said it, right? It was just, I'm sorry. Just, but anyways, the cane, hey, I gotta bring some humor into this. This Friday it's Freaky Friday, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, no, that's actually next Friday.
It's Funny Friday.
Oh, Funny Friday. There you go.
Yeah, funny. Well, actually, Halloween is Thursday, so there's no I guess there's no Freaky Friday today or whatever.
It's that's a joke. Why did the chicken cross the street?
Yeah, that part.
Exactly.
Get to the other side.
To the privacy aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
Another thing that we need to start big time if they're gonna start using this AI is that how are they gonna guard this AI with the hackers that are gonna come for all that data?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's true too. Right quick, Britt, you got any comments down there? I know I heard her come back.
I know Monica's watching. Monica, and then Miss Sissy Bird's watching. She's here in El Paso. Hi, Miss Bird. How you doing?
Okay. Good morning. Good morning.
Miss Bird is actually Miss Bird is actually a candidate that's running for city council here in El Paso.
Okay. And I know Tisha was in here, and so anyway, let's move forward.
Only Tisha. Good morning. That's the last comment.
Okay.
But yeah.
So what's the next article? I know we should have more articles.
I'll make my segment way into it. Sticking to privacy, right? And it is a big issue that is on people's minds, especially due to media footage like photos and videos. And now that they're able to analyze videos and stuff like that, because it's coming to be my eyes and other technologies is already in PixieBot. So if PixieBot's doing it and stuff, these companies doing it in large amounts. And the data that they could get from a video, we just guys, the data that we can get from a video, just by the little landmarks around, they could get your location, they could get how many people, they could get so much content and information off of it. Um, so there gotta have to be some new privacy guardrails and stuff. But even in that point, right? Let's say we get to an AI built into a robot, and this AI is caring for someone, right? Well, it's gonna need to know very personal information if it's caring for a patient, right?
Right.
Right.
And that's a then how what we will consider this robot providing a service and help or providing a commercial service. Meaning that if it's providing healthcare service, the AI within that robot needs to be tailored more to that person is taken care of, and the company that owns that robot or owns that AI cannot use that information for consumer purposes to advertise. So let's look at this article in ways that how AI and robots might be end up caring for some folks that really may need it.
Social robots in elderly care, a solution or a concern. Social robots are being explored as a potential solution to the growing crisis in elderly care, particularly for individuals living with dementia. These robots are designed to offer companionship, foster social interaction, and help alleviate some of the burdens faced by caregivers. Early studies have indicated promising benefits, such as improved mood and a reduction in symptoms among dementia patients. The robots aim to engage with users through conversation, games, and reminders, creating a more stimulating environment and potentially enhancing the overall quality of life for elderly individuals. However, despite the potential benefits, experts remain cautious. One of the main concerns is the possible decrease in essential human contact. Relying too heavily on robots could lead to isolation, as personal interactions with caregivers, friends, and family members may become less frequent. Additionally, there is still limited research on the long-term effectiveness of social robots in care settings. While short-term improvements are noted, it is unclear whether these benefits can be sustained over time or if they diminish as the novelty of interacting with robots wears off. Moreover, ethical questions are being raised about the appropriateness of using robots in care roles traditionally filled by humans. Critics argue that caregiving requires empathy, understanding, and emotional connection, qualities that robots are currently unable to replicate. There is an ongoing debate about whether replacing human care with robotic assistance compromises the dignity and emotional well-being of the elderly. As researchers continue to study and develop social robots, these questions will likely become even more significant. For now, the use of social robots in elderly care remains an area of active exploration and cautious optimism. Now back to the coffee time crew for their thoughts.
So, in my opinion, yes, I would like what Pedro was saying in this instance, especially. Yeah, that robot is going to need to know some personal information about the person that's caring for in order to be able to interact with them and, try to, spark memories within them. You know what I'm saying? As far as, their life and stuff is concerned. I think that, okay, it's probably going to be owned by some sort of either a home or some sort of a home care providing service, right? But at the same time, I think we're in this instance, especially, once that robot is through dealing with that patient, then that data should be removed, right? Now, let's flip this script around to where they're in a hospital situation, right? And maybe they're caring for 5 or 6 different patients. Well, in the hospital setting, I think they should have access to the medical records within the hospital so that they don't mistreat the patient or whatever. I mean, I don't know what their duty would be, but you understand what I'm saying. But then hopefully that robot there would be owned by the hospital, so therefore all the records are staying internally. Does that make sense?
But I
And
think a lot. Go ahead.
go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
George. Go ahead, George.
No, I was just gonna say. I just think that using robots when it comes to senior citizens, that human aspect is taken away. What I mean by that is, if they say that person's not feeling well, right, and that robot's gonna come and give them medicine, the robot's not gonna see that, or they say like someone that's sighted, right, a nurse, they're giving someone a patient medicine, and they notice something like, okay, are you feeling okay, George? You don't look right, or that's where the human aspect, and not only that, just to have that talk, right? Like, we come in the room. I've been in the hospital. I know some of us on this show have been in the hospital. And when that nurse comes in, how are you doing, Mr. Savala? You kind of make, okay, So I think it's just, I don't know. For me, as that human aspect, just we're getting away
One
from that too much.
well, George, one of the things that's would be beneficial, and I can say that because my brother-in-law passed away, and I think part of the reason he passed away is because he had dementia and didn't know when to take his medication because I mean, so as far as that, like some of those homes where they have patients there, they can use them to give to time their medications. Uh, and make sure that they get them and all that when they need to. But at the same time, they should also be probably they should also have like a camera that shows the people in a nursing home or whatever, um, if the patient has fallen or whatever, if they need to go in there to assist them. But I think the robots, while you're saying that they lose some of the human aspect, I mean, look, my brother-in-law never saw his family, so what difference did it make for him?
Well, and I was going to get to that as well, Mr. Bautista. I mean, you think about, especially once somebody gets put into a home, how
Hmm.
often do you really go visit them? You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So I
exactly.
mean, so you go visit them maybe once a week, right? Well, what do they do
Ma-
for the other 6 days?
Yeah,
You're only there for a couple hours. Who do they interact with the rest of the time, right?
yeah.
So on that aspect, I mean, you're giving them somebody to giving them, something to interact with anyway.
Hmm.
I ain't gonna call it a human, but at least they have something to interact with. And if that
Yeah.
AI understands some of their personal information, right? Then they can say, oh, well, your son called and said they couldn't make it today. Boy, Johnny and his three kids, whoop, 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 and name off their names or something. That might spark something inside that person to help them, right? But again, I
Right.
just feel that once they're done caring for that patient, whether it's, hopefully they're with that patient for the duration of their stay, the remainder of their life, whatever the case may be. But when that interaction is over, that data should be removed. So,
Right.
Yes. Yes. But all that is good too. But yes, the we got to remember the robots might be owned by hospitals and different care facilities, but the AI models might not be. So, how many times we use these AIs, but we don't own them? So yeah, the data it's gonna be had to have guardrails, even though a robot might be used in a hospital. The training and all that is gathering, just like how the glide would, and put it on their model and all that. You own the glide, but you don't own the AI.
well, I
So
get that.
yeah, so all that data needs to be guarded. It needs to be guardrails. Like yes, all the records cannot leave the database
The facility,
of
right?
the
Yeah.
hospital. It cannot go to this AI company because they're not a medical company. You know what I'm saying? And things
Right.
like that. So that needs to happen.
You,
But
you know what? Go ahead,
mhm.
please. I'm sorry.
No,
No,
well,
because you know what would be cool one of these days. Not now, of course. I don't know how this would work, but it would be cool to where we own our data and we could sell it. Because like you said, people make money off our data, folks. Believe it or
well,
not.
well. I that's what I tell my kids. Don't give the companies your data. Do not answer surveys. Do not do this on YouTube when they ask you questions. What movie are you gonna go see? Don't answer none of that. I like They just want your data to sell it. If they want your data, your oil, they need to pay you. That's
Yeah.
what we need to teach the youngins. Because when they get older, we're like, why am I gonna get my data? They need to pay me. And this might be a source of income.
But you're right. You're right. I mean, they're making money off of us, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then we're talking about millions and millions of dollars, like Google, and
Talking about millions and millions of dollars.
yeah, and Bing
Well,
and all
well,
those things. So,
that's how they know what you like, what you eat, what preferences are, and then they present you with that information all the time so that you will buy it,
but
and that's the problem.
Mr. Bautista, I know it's funny. I just thought of something when you about the Meta glasses, Pedro, and
Yeah.
the I just thought about it right now when you said about the data. That how you remember how you said earlier that when you make a call, Facebook will go in there and tap on it and say, okay, this Pedro wants to make a call with his contact. And it's funny because when I first got my glasses, and I don't know why I said this, I just said, hey, Meta, take a picture and send it to my wife. And it said, okay. And it sent it to my wife. Remember, I think I told you, didn't I, Pedro? Or you, Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Davis? I go,
Mm-hmm.
So,
how in the hell did they know it was but because of Facebook, duh. It
Mm-hmm.
connected my wife. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying. It's just, you forget about the connectivity of between Facebook and your phone and all that jazz, right? That it connects everybody to everyone, right? And that's just,
Yeah.
it's a unique thing, but it's also kind of spooky,
Yeah, AI it can be. And at that point, yeah, the way that it gathered all the information and sent it out and did all that, you know. But I'm gonna give you it's kind of like a conspiracy. It's not even a theory; it's a conspiracy.
That's on Thursdays.
No, but this is related to Facebook, guys. They used to have something called something life, right? The CIA was trying to kick it off. It never kicked off. Then they invested into Facebook and said, "Hey, make it like this app," and now the CIA is able to get all your records without asking you. You just do it because let me post a picture, let me do this, let me check in, and they have all the data, and it's a CIA project.
Mm.
That's a
Wasn't it?
conspiracy about it.
Remember Snowden? I mean, not the
Hmm.
same thing, kind of, but right. But remember Snowden when he gave up saying that the government's tapping their calls and
The
whatnot,
NSA.
the NSA, and they were saying that the NSA and everybody was trying, oh, how dare they? But I mean, like I said, what did I just say earlier? We had to give up something for something else. For example, what I mean by that is, in this case, we have to give up a little bit of our privacy because of national security, right?
Yes,
well,
but
and
they
we've
broke the
also
law though. They broke the law
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah. And I understand
the
that, but
law
I'm saying,
states if I call someone across overseas, then they could see the overseas who it was, but not the U.S. citizen, right?
right,
yes,
right.
But
So I mean,
now they will get the U.S. citizen, and then they can label that U.S. citizen, and if they make another call to another U.S. citizen, they're able to see who are those, and that was the violation of the law, and he was
yes,
pointing it out.
well, and what we're doing in that point, I mean, after 9/11, what was that, the Patriot Act or
yeah,
whatever
the
it
picture.
is, where they, so now that all that's behind us, we're clawing to get those privacies back, those things that were taken away from us during the Patriot Act. So right now, the lawmakers up there, they don't want to give up all of that data gathering, right?
Hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. We're fighting to get what we can back out of that, right?
And that's a good example right there, Ed. When you give them so much power, they don't want to give it back. So you cannot give one man so much power because they will never give it back. And that's a perfect example, the Patriot Act. When you give so much power to government that they don't want to give back, especially someone running the Oval Office. So let's think about that.
Right, right, right. And again, well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, not saying that 9/11 couldn't happen again, but at the same time, I mean, well, that was immediate. That was a knee-jerk reaction. It was something they felt they needed to do to lock down the country and try to find, per se, the terrorists within, and stuff like that. Because again, where would all them people trained at? Right here.
Yep.
You
And
know,
so I have a question, Mr. Davis. I wonder, like our utilities, the light, the water, the gas, is AI integrated into those systems regarding how to deploy services? And if so, that would be a good point for the hackers, right? To get into, and if they really wanted to mess up our systems.
well, I know one thing, for instance, like a lot of these phone calls I get from these corporate real estate folks, right? Wanting to buy property. Here in San Bernardino, they passed a thing where all of the homeowners were liable for the bills, right? The utility bills. And there, I mean, literally, we had to sign up. The homeowners have to sign off. If you're a renter and they're not going to cover utilities within the rent or whatever, then they have to sign off to allow the bill to be sent to her, right? But in that, what happens is because they know that that's a law, that that the homeowners got to be on the utility bills or whatever. So now they get the utility bills are public knowledge. That's public record, right? So they go in there and they access those public records, and they automatically assume that everybody in this county owns their property because their name is on that utility.
Well, to what you just said, Mr. Davis, is true, because when I could say this, I'm not like it's something security. When I worked for the Attorney General, when I was looking for what's called esconders, those that were hiding for service, we could literally get your location and get a lot of information off just your simple email, off the IP, and and people are like, how did you find me? Well, so you'll be amazed, folks. You'll be amazed.
Your IP address.
Yeah, your IP. You'll be amazed how much information. And then not only that, but like how we talked about earlier about association. So let's say I'm looking for Joe Blow, and Joe Blow is the sister of Heather, and Heather is the friend of Bautista. I could get to Bautista through Joe Blow. You know what I'm saying? I should have said John Doe. I don't know why I said Joe Blow, but John Doe. And the thing is,
Joe Blow sounds dope though. Bob named, hey, what's up, Joe Blow?
Right.
Joe Blow lives on Loma Land.
Right, that sounds like a mafia nickname, right?
Yeah, that's Tony right there. Joe Blow.
You should be surprised. Just the information that's online, just free stuff, right? That's what's the thing about it. People don't realize.
But that's how the a lot of times we think that the police departments or the detectives are very smart. They're really they're smart. They catch on to all kinds of stuff. But that's how they do it. They go and look for find whose friend is this and who's related to that, and they get that information. And so that's why AI it's going to be difficult because the police departments, the agencies, they're all going to have that information.
True, you're right.
Whether we like it or not, I mean, the electric company has your information, and the gas company has your information, and if the police department want to know where was the last time where you're living at, they just go to those agencies and
the last known agency, the last known address. Yeah, you're right.
They used to need a warrant for some of these stuff, but I think some of those things got rolled back. So now they can even access phone records and stuff like that without a warrant.
Well, even in that, Pedro, I'm sorry, but even in that, I mean, there's a lot of people like bill collectors. They got, their investigators, what they call them skip traces, kind of same thing that George was talking about when they were searching for, deadbeat dads or whatever, right? They they're getting that information, the last known address. Mm-hmm. They're checking the utility services in the area to see if their name pops up as having a utility bill in a certain area or whatever, so they know where to go find them at. I mean, even other stuff. I mean, as an example, my daughters, the one daughter, she couldn't remember where my wife is at, right? So my daughter here sent my wife a picture, or sent my other daughter a picture of the headstone, right? And she was able to use that picture and get directions exactly to where the headstone was.
Oh wow!
From the picture.
Oh wow! That's
all your data and these images are posted, and they're your location. You could turn it off if you worry about that. You could turn it off.
But let me say this: I tell people this all the time. If you don't believe me about the free stuff, just go on Google right now, after the show, and Google your phone number. You'll be surprised when you get back. You'll be like, "Oh crap, my address is there." You know,
Everything,
yeah.
everything is there. Everything is there. So, well, folks, it's about that time, and hopefully everyone has enjoyed this Friday's edition of Coffee Time with Blind United. I want to thank all the folks that commented and that will watch this later and comment and all that good stuff. I want to thank everybody that joined us in the studio today. Brittany, Carol, Mr. Bautista, of course, Pedro and George. And
well,
man,
at least I know why now Mr. Bautista's not answering his calls. He was going to see me here today, so that's why I know. Because I've been calling that man, you know, he don't answer his phone.
Okay.
I thought Mr. Davis was bad.
Lord have mercy. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your Friday. Come hang out with us tonight at movie night. And for those of us, yes, that are going to the Halloween Spooky Night event, man, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
Your costume, what is it?
I'm gonna be something from like the Matrix. So
okay.
He's getting his creep costume out.
Yeah. So I mean, stuff I got hanging in my closet. I ain't buying nothing. So
are you gonna be? What was the guy's name? The main what's the guy's name?
Morpheus.
Neo.
Oh, Neo.
You know what? He would be a good Morpheus. Morpheus
is Morpheus with Crocs on.
Yeah, Morpheus with Crocs on. That's what I'm gonna be. Okay. Well, Morpheus being white with Crocs. How about that one? So we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna have a lot of fun with it. So hopefully, you guys will have a lot of footage from that. I don't know if we'll play it here, but it will definitely be available within our Facebook stuff. So again, run over to our Facebook page, like, follow, all that good stuff, share. Same thing over at our Facebook interest group of Blind United Interest Group. And then please also on YouTube, like, follow, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Everything makes us, it adds to the numbers for us, folks. So I appreciate all of that. So
even Mr. Davis, even people here in El Paso, they'll tell me, "Oh yeah, your coffee time." I'm like, how in the world do they know? And it was cool, right? Because I didn't think that, but yeah, the word's getting out there, and so this is a good place to get information about just anything about being blind,
And we enjoy coming and giving it to you guys every day. So again, if we don't see you at the party, we'll see you back on Monday morning. So on that note, everybody have a great weekend. We'll talk to you all on Monday morning.